สนับสนุนโดย
BASF The Chemical Company
บริษัทซีเมนต์จำกัด
ท่านเอกอัครราชทูตรัสเซียประจำประเทศไทยคนใหม่ท่านคิริล บานสกี้เป็นนักการทูตที่น่าสนใจมากครับเพราะว่ามาถึงปั๊บเนี่ยถ้าแค่เดือนเดียวเนี่ยผมก็เจอแล้วมีแนวคิดของการสร้างความสัมพันธ์ความคึกคักที่จะเปลี่ยนโฉมหน้าความรู้สึกของรัสเซียต่อประเทศไทยหลายๆด้านทีเดียวครับ Ambassador Bansky welcome
Thank you
You have been here a month
Yes I'm a new Russian ambassador and it's been a little more than a month that I've arrived in Thailand but I've already fully engaged in the execution of my mission
Yes.
which is to promote bilateral relations between Russia and Thailand.
In what way do you plan to strengthen relations between the two countries?
First of all, I would like to say that Russia and Thailand are linked with each other for a long tradition of friendship.
Very long.
Which was established as early as late 19th century by His Majesty King Rama V
Yes.
and the Russians are Nicholas II. And it is a very rare thing between the two nations that in the year 2017 we are going to celebrate the 120th anniversary of diplomatic relations between our countries.
It is a long relationship, right?
Yes, and this is our great asset. And basing ourselves on this amazing foundation of good traditions of friendship between Russia and Thailand, I believe we have very good opportunities for the promotion of cooperation in all areas, starting from political dialogue between our leaders, economic and trade cooperation, cultural exchanges and people-to-people contacts. I'm sure that we are on a threshold of a new stage of relationship between Russia and Thailand.
Is Russia coming back to Asia, shall I say? Meaning that...
Well, Russia has never left Asia. Russia has always been here.
But they were not that close to Asia.
It is a very discussable question because geographically speaking, Russia is a part of Asia.
Of course.
Historically speaking, we've had very good relations with the Asian countries for a long, long time. And in fact, the Soviet Union, which is a predecessor of Russia, rendered assistance and aid to many Asian countries in their fight for independence and supported them in the economic build-up in the 20th century. And Russia, as a successor of the Soviet Union, continues these traditions of good relations with most of the Asian countries. And now we are reinvigorating our relationship with Asia because this corresponds with our own interests in developing the Russian Far Eastern and Siberian regions, joining the integration process in the Asia-Pacific region. So we are doing this for the sake of ourselves and we are doing this for the sake of the security, stability and prosperity of Asia.
Well, the United States is talking about pivot to Asia, rebalancing power in Asia. Are you trying to balance the American influence in...
Nothing of the kind.
No?
No. We believe that the world has changed. It is no more the world which is dominated by one country or one military bloc. We are moving very quickly to a multipolar world, like it or not. And this is a new reality which should be reflected in multilateral mechanisms.
Yes.
This is why so big stress is put on multilateral diplomacy these days. And what we need now is not leadership of one country, but the collective leadership of all Asians and Asia should belong to all of us. This is the fact of life, and we cannot avoid it. Russia is trying to play its part as a country which offers uniting, positive agenda, which is famous for coming up with some interesting proposals in terms of security cooperation, economic integration, and so on. So we are ready to join hands with other Asian nations to make the Asia-Pacific region a more peaceful and prosperous place to live.
So you don't see a third Cold War or new Cold War happening over the Ukraine confrontation between the United States and Russia? Because some people say another Cold War is coming up over Ukraine. And Russia, President Putin and President Obama of the United States are like this, face to face.
Well, I hope it will all pass by.
Yes.
Because I think that all the reasonable political forces in the world, all the countries in the world, are wishing to have a peaceful world. Nobody wants Cold War. Nobody wants conflicts.
Yes.
And Russia is a country which wishes to have good relationship with both the European Union, with the Asian countries, and of course with the United States.
Yeah.
But what we want from our partners is to be respectful of our interests, of our positions, and to conduct dialogue and cooperation on an equal basis.
But you're facing sanctions from the United States and
That's
EU,
true.
the
Yeah.
economic sanctions.
That's true.
Isn't that a kind of a confrontation?
Well, Russia is not the one who introduced sanctions against anybody. We believe that sanctions are illegal and unfair. We are a victim of sanctions which are based on the desire of some political forces to weaken Russia,
Yep.
to limit the ability of Russia to project its power, to develop its economy, to improve the welfare of their people. So, of course, the only thing we can say about the sanctions that we regret that there are countries and people who wish to use this instrument, which is completely contradictory to the nature of today's world, when cooperation and collaboration and integration are the main tendencies. But we're not scared.
You're not.
No. Russia is a self-sufficient country.
Are you trying to get supply, especially agricultural supply from Asia, to cope with the sanctions?
Well, today's world is a multipolar world, and the world is not limited to the United States or to the European Union. Russia has plenty of good friends and partners all over the world, including in Asia. And of course, when we searching new markets and looking for new partners and exploring some new avenues of cooperation, we are looking eastward. Of course, we are not turning our back on Europe. Europe has always been, still is, and will continue to be our major partner. But the Asia-Pacific region is the most dynamic economy of the world. And of course, we are seduced by possibilities which are offered by China, India, ASEAN, Japan, the Republic of Korea. And of course, we will continue to work closely as we used to do in the past. But now, by the situation which Russia finds itself in, we are confirmed in our commitment to the promotion of cooperation with the countries of the Asia Pacific.
สนับสนุนโดย
BASF, the chemical company.
เมื่อวันที่ 28 พฤศจิกายนที่ผ่านมา นายวลาดิมีร์ปูตินประธานาธิบดีรัสเซียกล่าวว่าการคว่ำบาตรรัสเซียของประเทศตะวันตกเป็นภัยคุกคามต่อความมั่นคงของโลกอย่างไรก็ตามรัสเซียจะยังคงเคารพและปฏิบัติตามสนธิสัญญาระหว่างประเทศที่ได้ลงนามรวมทั้งจะปฏิบัติภาระหน้าที่ระหว่างประเทศที่รัสเซียจะต้องแบกรับด้วยเขายังกล่าวว่าสหรัฐสหภาพยุโรปออสเตรเลียและประเทศตะวันตกอื่นคว่ำบาตรรัสเซียโดยลำพังฝ่ายเดียวนั้นไม่ชอบธรรมการคว่ำบาตรดังกล่าวไม่เพียงแต่จะสร้างความเสียหายให้กับเศรษฐกิจโลกเท่านั้นหากยังเป็นภัยต่อความมั่นคงของโลกด้วยการคว่ำบาตรของประเทศฝ่ายตะวันตกจะไม่ประสบความสำเร็จอย่างแน่นอนรัสเซียจะใช้มาตรการตอบโต้ที่รุนแรงพอๆกับมาตรการคว่ำบาตรที่ประเทศตะวันตกใช้อย่างไรก็ตามรัสเซียจะคำนึงถึงสิทธิประโยชน์และพันธกรณีระหว่างประเทศของรัสเซียด้วย
United States and Europe say you more or less invaded Ukraine. Your action in Ukraine is not acceptable. I don't know. I'm asking you.
No.
No?
Of course
It's
not.
not true?
No, of course not. There are no Russian troops in the Ukraine, and there cannot be because we are respectful of the international law. How can we? That this is absolutely impossible. And I hope that the open-minded people of Thailand and the open-minded mass media of Thailand will dismantle this silly theory in your coverage. What Russia is standing for is the principle of non-interference into the domestic affairs of the countries. We are against colored revolutions. And this is what happened in the Ukraine when the United States and the European Union supported the coup d'etat and brought to power extremist nationalistic forces which prohibited a huge part of the population of Russia from speaking their own language and discriminating them. So the only thing that part of Ukraine could do is to resist and to defend their interests. And because the majority of the population of the eastern and southeastern part of the Ukraine are Russian speakers. A lot of people have affiliation with the Russians, with the Russian citizens who live in Russia, their relatives and their business relationship and so on and so forth. So, of course, we cannot remain indifferent in this situation. And morally speaking, of course, we support them because they're fighting for the right cause. But Russia is of the view that the conflict in Ukraine should be resolved by peaceful means, by the parties concerned, through dialogue between Kiev and the authorities of the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Lugansk republics. What Russia can do is to facilitate the execution of the Minsk agreements which were reached last September. And we, as a friendly country to Ukraine, as a good partner of the European Union and the country who is interested in peace and stability Europe. Of course, we will do our utmost.
Yes. So you think there's a way out of
bring
this?
peace to Ukraine.
There's a way out of this crisis in
Of course,
Ukraine?
of course. I'm sure it will happen sooner or later, but it will.
You talk about coup in Ukraine. What about the coup in Thailand? What is Russia's position?
Well, of course, Russia is a democratic country, so we believe that all the problems of Thailand should be resolved in a democratic way through dialogue, by peaceful means, and within the constitutional and the legal framework. But how to achieve this is in the hands of the people of Thailand. We cannot interfere. This is the domestic affair of Thailand. And only the people of Thailand knows better what to do and how to do. But as a friendly country, of course, we are here to help. And we are ready to promote our cooperation and to do it in contact with the interim government of Thailand. We do not see any obstacles on the way of continuing the projects that we've already
So relations
kickstarted
has not
in
been
the
affected?
past. No, the relations will not be affected, and we're already planning some political contacts and meetings of the Bilateral Trade and Economic Commission and also the Subcommission on Agriculture and Subcommission on Trade and investment. The meetings are going to be convened in Moscow in late November, and that will pave way to signing intergovernmental and interagency agreements and contracts between private companies, which I hope will bring the good outcomes both for the Russian Federation and Thailand.
Russian investment in Thailand is still quite limited. How
That's true.
do you propose to expand it?
Well, investment is a bilateral thing.
Yeah.
We, of course, are interested in more investment in the Russian economy, and some investment made by the CP Group already proved successful.
Yep.
And I heard of the plans of the CP Group to expand its investment in the agricultural sector of Russia. But at the same time, Russia can also invest more in Thailand, first and foremost in such areas as energy cooperation.
Yes.
In September, the two sides signed a memorandum of understanding on cooperation in the field of the peaceful use of nuclear energy. We start with small things, but we hope that in the future we can have full-fledged cooperation on this. The construction of hydropower plants, the export of Russian energy equipment to Thailand, the construction of electricity pipelines, infrastructure development, our investment in the industrial zones which are functioning in Thailand and very successfully is also one of the options. The last but not least, the Russian community, which is quite numerous these days in Thailand, also consists of a big number of businessmen who have the investment in such areas as property, retail, jewelry, and IT. And I'm sure that these investments are going to expand alongside with the good development of the economy of Thailand, which I'm sure is going to happen.
Tourism is a big thing for Russians here because if you go to Pattaya, you see all these Russian signs, a lot of Russian people there, Phuket and all this. How are you going to even further promote tourism from Russia and for Thai tourists to be able to spend more time in Russia? What is the number of Russian tourists to Thailand now?
Last year, 1.7 million Russian tourists visited Thailand. And this year we expect even more because the tendency for the last several years was that every year the number of tourists increased by 20 to 30%. I will tell you this. The Russian people have a long-standing romance with Thailand.
Romance.
Yes, this is what I call it because indeed the people of Russia are in love with Thailand.
Yes.
There is some special chemistry between Russian and Thai people. I think it is embedded in the national character, the traditional values, the way of life, and to make a long story short, Russian people feel very comfortable in Thailand, and the Russians get along with the Thai people very well.
Yes.
Maybe this is one of the reasons why so many Russian people wish to come to Thailand, and when they come to Thailand, they are dreaming about coming here again. Of course, the Russian people are lured by the beauties of the southern part of Thailand, the beaches of Pattaya and Phuket and Samui and Krabi and Phi Phi, and adventurous Russian tourists are anxious exploring new resorts and new places. But I hope the future of the Russian tourism in Thailand lies not in the south, but in the north. And it is just a matter of time and maybe advertisement on the part of Thailand to bring more Russian tourists to such places as Chiang Mai or Isan or Ayutthaya because the cultural relics and the natural beauties of that part of Thailand is something which I'm sure will be of great interest to our tourists.
When you mention Thailand in Russia, what is the image?
Thailand in Russia.
When you meet a Russian and say Thailand, what is the image that comes up?
Well, I think the first thing which comes to a mind of a Russian person when he speaks about Thailand, that it's a good country. That it's beautiful and smiling people, and that it's a very comfortable place to go, especially when it is cold winter in Russia, and it overlaps with the high season and the dry season in Thailand, and of course exquisite traditional culture of Thailand.
Thai food?
Thai food, of course. Everybody loves it in Russia. Tom yum soup.
Thai massage?
I don't know, probably. But it is a complex phenomenon, you know, so you cannot take out one element and forget about the others. So it's the whole subculture in Russia when people use the internet and social networks, and then they exchange SMS and texts about Thailand and information where to go and what to see and so on. It's a whole subculture in Russia, the admiration of Thailand. So I hope that this love affair will continue. But another question about tourism in Russia is something which deserves more efforts on both sides. Russia is
more Thai tourists going to Russia.
Yes.
How many Thais go to Russia every year?
Unfortunately, the number is
Quite small.
not big. Last year, only 24,000 Thais visited Russia.
So we are running a big deficit.
Yeah, but I think this can be compensated by our joint efforts to advertise the natural beauties and the cultural relics of Russia, not only Moscow and St. Petersburg. We are a country of big opportunities and huge tourist resources. Before coming to Thailand, I visited a couple of places in Russia, including my hometown, Vladimir, which used to be the ancient capital of Russia, a city 200 kilometers to the east of Moscow. And the governor of the Vladimir region told me that they welcome more and more Thai tourists to come to Vladimir to see old churches and monasteries, and they will enjoy it greatly. But not only tourists, but also businessmen who are
but this is not known to Thai
industry.
people, you see. So you have to make it known to Thai people.
We will try our best, and this is one of the agenda of the Russian embassy in Thailand.
Ambassador Baski, you plan to be very active, proactive in your job in Bangkok, right?
Yeah. I hope that during my tenure here, we will be able to bring the cooperation between Russia and Thailand to a new height. And I will do my best to serve the people of Thailand and the people of Russia.
So you plan to have more activities, you plan to sell more Russian products, you plan to promote investment on both sides.
That's true. And our cooperation should encompass a wide range of areas, not only traditional areas which we had good cooperation like agriculture and tourism, but we should also look at new opportunities such as military sales from Russia to Thailand. We have a lot to offer because the Russian weaponry is famous all over the world, and as we register the interest of the Thailand army in purchasing more arms from Russia.
Such as
we are very hopeful. Helicopters and aircrafts, and we start from this, and then probably we'll move to some other areas of cooperation and other types of weaponry such as tanks and armored vehicles and submarines whatsoever. Russia has a lot to offer.
So you are ready to deal in trade in every way. Agricultural products, military weapons,
and
even
science and technology. Why not? Yes, we have some good brains in Russia, and in Thailand people are very proficient in converting innovations into commercial products, and I think we can cooperate on this.
When you mention Russia to the most Thai people, the impression is, well, we used to be on different sides in the Cold War, right? And generally people would think about Russians being quite aggressive, mysterious, secretive. How are you going to change that image?
Look at me.
You don't look like...
Am I aggressive?
No, you're totally different.
Am I secretive?
Yeah, totally different. How are you going to change the image of Russians in Thailand?
The great majority of the Russian people are just like me.
Like you?
I'm
smiling,
just a simple,
friendly,
Russian guy. Yes, of course.
Ready to discuss any issue.
But look, we live in a northern country where we have cold weather more than 7 months a year. And of course, Russian people, unlike people in Thailand, we're not smiling to every to every pedestrian, you know, to every person who comes up to us. But when you become friends with a Russian, you will find out that you will never discover such cordiality and openness in people in other countries.
ประเทศไทยถือเป็นจุดมุ่งหมายสำคัญแห่งหนึ่งของนักท่องเที่ยวจากทั่วโลกเพราะมีภูมิประเทศที่สวยงามหลากหลายไม่ว่าจะเป็นชายทะเลขาวสะอาดทางภาคใต้และภาคตะวันออกป่าไม้และภูเขาอันงดงามและวัฒนธรรมแบบล้านนาทางภาคเหนือหรือแหล่งช้อปปิ้งและชีวิตเมืองอันทันสมัยในกรุงเทพรวมไปถึงอาหารไทยผู้คนที่เป็นมิตรและยิ้มสยามก็ล้วนแล้วแต่เป็นสิ่งดึงดูดให้นักท่องเที่ยวมุ่งหน้าเข้ามาเยี่ยมเยือนประเทศไทยนักท่องเที่ยวจากสหพันธรัฐรัสเซียก็เป็นอีกกลุ่มหนึ่งที่เดินทางเข้ามาท่องเที่ยวอย่างประเทศไทยเพิ่มมากขึ้นทุกปี
How do you find Pattaya?
Pattaya
So many
is
Russians. It's a Russian town.
Well, it is a town with a huge Russian population,
Yes.
and we are very happy that
How many
Russians
Russians do you
chose.
How many Russians are there in Pattaya, according to
Well,
your
we don't
number?
have very reliable statistics, but they say that it must be around 200,000 people
Wow.
living there permanently or semi-permanently.
Yes.
And of course, this is a huge community, and the business community is also very strong. They are not only businessmen who are involved in the tourism industry, but they also have investment
Yes.
in Thailand
Yes.
in such spheres as information and communication technology, property, construction, jewelry, food industry. And I met them in the embassy, just the ballroom where we are sitting right now. We invited members of the Russian business community in Pattaya and
Yes.
in Phuket for the celebration of the National Unity Day, which is celebrated in Russia on the 4th of November. And I registered their interest in having more investment in Thailand, and many of them already came to see me and came up with interesting proposals and projects. And as ambassador, I'm going to support them because this is a great thing to do. But you asked me about the impression on Pattaya.
Yeah.
When I was an exchange student in China,
Yes.
in 1985, I visited the city of Shenzhen.
Shenzhen. It was before it opened up.
It was right after Deng Xiaoping started reforms and
Go south.
Yes, before he's going south, but he already gave instructions to set up 5 special zones
Yes.
in the southern part of China, and Shenzhen was one of them.
Yes.
And at that time, my impression was that it was not even a city, but a tiny little town
Right.
on the border with Hong Kong. But the scale, the dimension of construction, which I saw in 1985 in Shenzhen, was amazing. But it was only the beginning.
Yeah.
What I saw in Pattaya resembled Shenzhen 30
years ago.
And I do not rule out the possibility that in maybe 5 to 10 years we will see quite a different Pattaya with high-rise buildings, hotels, office buildings, and vibrant economic life, because now Pattaya has become, well, thanks to Russian businessmen or due to other reasons, I don't know, has become a magnet which is attracting investment and business people, nothing to say about tourists from all over the world, including Russia. And I'm very happy about it.
Wow, with so many Russians there, you might have some concern about misbehaving Russian tourists or businessmen.
Sometimes they misbehave, like tourists from other countries.
Yes.
Maybe Russian tourists are not very disciplined by virtue of our strong and vibrant national character.
Yeah.
Russian tourists like to party, they like to spend money, they like to open their hearts to their friends and local people. Well, it is for you and the viewers of the Nation TV to judge whether it is good or bad. I believe that still it is a good feature of our national character. But of course, if Russian tourists break the law, if they are hiding from prosecution in the Russian Federation, we have to take steps. And we have agreed with the Thai police that we will join hands in combating transnational crime. Because this is not only our problem, but it is also a problem related to security in Thailand, including security and safety of the Russian tourists.
Sure.
Because sometimes what Russian criminals are trying to do here in Pattaya is to bully Russian people.
Russians, people themselves, not only the local
Exactly,
people.
They want money from them, and they steal money from them, and
so there are actually Russian gangs, criminal gangs in Pattaya.
There are some cases when we see coordinated criminal efforts by several Russian people, and of course the Royal Thai Police knows about it, and recently we've intensified our cooperation in combating crime, and the embassy has established a hotline between itself and the Royal Thai Police. We are receiving online information about what is happening to our citizens, to our tourists. If they are arrested because of the violation of the Thai law, of course we register all those cases, and we seek cooperation also from the Russian authorities. But if their rights are infringed, of course we also know it from the Thai police, and we take measures to defend their legitimate interests. And sometimes we provide assistance and aid to the Russians who found themselves in a difficult situation.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you.
我可以说是变成为这个专业性的翻译，这个工作很累，但是
很累啊，
非常累，非常累，但是很愉快。我很荣幸做俄罗斯和中国高级谈判当中的翻译，这使得我感到非常的。
现在还有中国的朋友吗？
我中国朋友很多啊，
还有联系吗？
是啊，到现在为止我们通信来往啊。如果我去中国，我当然想办法抽出时间来见见我的朋友。
在泰国，你要想学泰语啊？
我当然希望学着泰语，泰语很难，所以呢，我的希望
泰语比中文还难啊？
不知道，但是从下个月开始，我要学，我要上这个泰语课啊，所以我下一次我们见面，希望我能说一点泰语。
对啊， 我们见面在见面的时候要说泰语了 You have President Putin here right in the middle of the embassy's parlor
Yes, he is the head of state, and of course we are supposed to have a portrait of the president in the embassy, but at the same time he turns out to be a very popular man
Yes.
in the world politics. I can
Popular or unpopular but he's well known
Yes, he attracts people, both those who support him and like him,
Yes.
and adore him sometimes,
Yes.
and also those people who oppose to him and who have some questions to him. But I can judge by the number of guests of the embassy
Yes.
who would like to have a picture with the ambassador and with President Putin as the background.
Yeah
Yes.
Me too included
Really?
Yes yes
This is not what President Putin is probably aiming at, to be the popular man, but
No, he's not popular. He's the most influential politician,
Yeah.
or most influential person in the world. Even President Obama is number 2.
I think
How do you
this is-
explain that?
This is evidence of the fact that President Putin is doing his job well, and that the position Russia takes on various issues, the global agenda, regional cooperation, bilateral cooperation, and also his position on the domestic political issues. He's very popular among the Russian people, over 80% now, even more popular than he used to be during his first term, when it seemed to many people that we have never had a president popular as he was. But now he's even has more support within the country than in the past. Although there are people, of course, who are not happy with him.
No, you have opposition parties too,
Right,
huh?
right. And they are allowed. And the freedom of speech is ensured in Russia. This is another interesting thing, maybe especially interesting for the Thai audience to know, because an impression may be that Putin is a dictator, as he's sometimes portrayed by the Western mass
And you don't
media.
think he's a dictator?
Oh no, nothing of the kind. Nothing of the kind. And all the human rights and fundamental freedoms are strictly observed in Russia. You will ask anybody, the journalists and rank and file people, and they will tell you that you will find anything in the Russian papers if you open it.
You can criticize Putin
You can.
in Russia
You can, and many people do.
and not run the risk of being arrested, being intimidated. No?
No. Yeah, this is the greatest achievement of the change of political regime in Russia from the Soviet Union to democratic Russia in the early 90s. And this is the liberty that the Russian people will never give out to anybody. This is something that we cherish a lot. Our freedom of expression, our freedom of speech, our right to be ourselves. This is very important.
ไทม์ไลน์สุทธิชัยหยุ่นสัปดาห์หน้า สัมภาษณ์พิเศษเซอร์มาร์ตินซอเรล CEO แห่ง WPP กลุ่มบริษัทโฆษณาประชาสัมพันธ์ที่ใหญ่ที่สุดของโลก ผลพวงเทคโนโลยีต่อแวดวงโฆษณาและการสื่อสารจะเป็นอย่างไร การบริหารงานเครือข่ายทั่วโลก สำนักงาน 2,400 แห่งใน 107 ประเทศ พนักงานกว่า 140,000 คน กลยุทธ์การบริหารธุรกิจระดับโลกที่เจอกับการเปลี่ยนแปลงตลอดเวลา เขาทำได้อย่างไร ติดตามได้ไทม์ไลน์สุทธิชัยหยุ่นสัปดาห์หน้า